Hey guys, and welcome to another You Should Be Watching video. The Lord of the Rings trilogy are my most beloved movies ever made. My most beloved movies ever made. There's literally nothing that would ever top or will top this masterpiece created by Peter Jackson or JRR Tolkien. I basically consider them one big movie, split in 3 parts. They were even filmed at the same time. And there is not a single video on this channel I have more passion than this one. I've been planning to create this video since the creation of my channel, and here we are. And there will never be another video I have as much passion as I have for this video. Because, as I already said, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy is my single favorite piece of media entertainment ever. And nothing will ever come close to it. Nothing. I feel Lord of the Rings trilogy is the greatest trilogy ever made and the single greatest cinematic masterpiece ever made. And those movies have been with me since childhood. I remember how when I was a kid, 7 years old, my father showed me Fellowship of the Ring on VHS. And I loved it so much, I wanted to be taken to see Two Towers in theaters. And I was taken, and I loved it even more. And then a year later, Return of the King came out. And of course, the trilogy was complete. And then a year later, I got all the extended editions for Christmas, which I still consider one of the biggest gifts I ever got on Christmas. And the extended editions I consider the definitive versions of the movies and the versions that should be watched. The theatrical versions are still great, but I think once you watch the extended editions, for me at least, it's literally impossible to go back to the theatrical versions. First, let's start that JRR Tolkien is probably the greatest storyteller and world builder ever. He created this fantasy world of Middle-earth, its lore, its history, and everything, and he's still the grandfather of modern fantasy. When you watch those movies, you can truly tell how much passion Peter Jackson had for this project. He clearly was very much a Tolkien fanatic, and he brought Middle-earth into screen. And I know that before trilogy, Tolkien's works were considered unfilmable, but Peter Jackson showed us that it could be done. Or maybe he showed us that he was the only one who could truly do it, because honestly, I doubt that anyone would ever be able to recreate what Peter Jackson created. Let's look at the visuals and landscapes. They are simply beautiful, and calling them feast for the eyes doesn't do them justice. Look at those beautiful mountains, for example, or at those fields, or look at that beautiful Anduin river. And look at those people riding horses shots. They are probably the best shots of people riding horses in any movie. I'm a lover of good stories and fantastic visuals, and no movie has ever combined both so wonderfully. In this case, the magnificent visuals very much enhance an already amazing story. The music is just excellent. It basically has a life of its own, and it perfectly captures the themes of the movie so well. Every single theme here is iconic and recognizable. Just listen to a few of those. Let's also talk about action and battles. The battles in The Lord of the Rings are still the greatest battles I ever seen in any movie or show. They are possibly even better than battles in Game of Thrones, which says a lot, because Game of Thrones had some awesome battles already. The fine favorite battle seems to be Battle of Helm's Deep, and I'm not surprised at all. The battle takes place at night, and yet everything is very visible. It's so well choreographed and it's so epic. It's really hard to believe that it was filmed back in the early 2000s. But my favorite battle is probably Battle of Pelennor Fields. That battle is still probably the most amazing battle I have ever seen. The build up to the battle was pretty amazing, and once the battle happens, you get so emotionally invested in it and the characters. And the battle has also a lot more iconic moments than Battle of Helm's Deep. It has some of the most iconic moments in the trilogy. And as always, the visuals are gorgeous. Though they're always gorgeous in that masterpiece trilogy. Finally, I'm going to discuss an amazing story itself. Although the story is classic and it's entirely possible many of you seen these movies, there are lost souls out there who still have missed out on that incredible masterpiece. So, I will try to make it as spoiler-free as possible. That said, not to spoil anything is quite impossible, so there will be a little bit of spoilers right here. So if you don't want any spoilers at all, please leave now, because right now we are getting into some spoiler territory. So please leave right now if you don't want any spoilers and you already want to try those incredible masterpieces. Still with me? Okay. The themes of the story are that even the smallest and weakest people can change the course of history. The main character is Frodo Baggins, a hobbit who inherits the ring from his uncle Bilbo. The ring has a special power that corrupts anyone who has it for a long time. It was forged by the Dark Lord Sauron in the fires of Mount Doom. And I will say now, the design they made for Sauron is simply magnificent and still holds up wonderfully to this day. He probably looks far better than any villains from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I love Marvel Cinematic Universe. Back to the story. The only way to destroy the ring is to throw it into the fires of Mount Doom, where it was forged. Frodo embarks on a dangerous mission with his best friend Sam to destroy the evil artifact. By the way, the friendship between Frodo and Sam is literally one of the best friendships ever put in a movie, if not the best. On his journey, Frodo meets various different people who also become characters in their own right. There is my favorite character Aragorn, son of Arathorn, who could be considered a separate main character. He has his own character arc that is almost as important as Frodo's arc. Aragorn is the rightful king of the kingdom of Gondor, but since his ancestor Isildur fell to the power of the ring, Aragorn doesn't feel he deserves the throne of Gondor. There is also everyone's favorite wizard Gandalf, who offers wise advice and is a mentor. He also says one of my favorite quotes in the entire story.
Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them, Frodo? Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment.
Let's not forget Legolas and Gimli, an elf and a dwarf. They begin hating each other due to elves and dwarves having lots of history of hatred towards each other, but they later develop a strong bond and close friendship over the story. And together with Aragorn, they form likely the greatest and most fantastic trio in fiction history. There is also Saruman the White, the treacherous wizard and one of my favorite villains ever. Christopher Lee is simply phenomenal in the role. And let's also talk about Gollum. He started the trend of CGI. While lots of modern CGI is very bad, the CGI on Gollum was actually excellent, and he looked and still does so natural. And I will also discuss my second favorite character after Aragorn, Boromir of Gondor. Boromir is likely the most complex character in the entire story. He wants to use the ring in order to defeat Sauron and help his people. But it's clearly stated that it doesn't work that way. The ring is evil and will only corrupt even the most noble men. His dynamic with Aragorn is excellent. As I already said, Aragorn is the rightful king of Gondor, and Boromir believes Gondor should have no king since he himself is the son of Steward of Gondor. By the way, that character of the Steward of Gondor is very much unlikable. But honestly, I feel I spoiled a lot of the story and characters already, but there is still so much more that I will not say anymore. I don't want to spoil anymore of this amazing story for the lost souls who still haven't seen those incredible masterpieces. I'm going to say it again. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is the greatest trilogy ever made and a true masterpiece of cinema. We'll never get anything as fantastic as that. I will mention that too. I do also really like the Hobbit movies. I think they are very underrated. But that said, they are nowhere near in quality as good as the Lord of the Rings movies. If you still haven't seen that true masterpiece, please do yourself a favor and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And preferably watch the extended editions. Okay, so, as I said, thank you for watching the video. This is the video I have been always the most passionate about to make. And please press the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye!